versus Gigantomachia. That's, I guess, the last verses of this
Mirio?
verse-filled episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we brought it up. Like, we felt like Mirio with his powers. I don't know if we wanted to add it in plus all for one. I'm sorry, one for all, or if it was just Mirio with transparency.
I have brought it up, and I say just Mirio with his regular powers, dropping fresh, into the heroes. Give him 1 year into the hero system, so learn a little bit. Mirio with his powers, because I think if we give him all for one, I think it's pretty safe to say that he probably clapping almost everybody, but probably the main villain.
Yeah.
Just because of story purposes. But
Right.
yeah, I think Mirio with his powers versus Gigantomachia. I think that of the heroes that are present right now, and we've seen most of them,
Yeah,
I think Mirio might have been the nigga's only chances to knock that nigga out.
that's true. I think I might still give the edge to Giganto just because I haven't seen him get tired yet. So I feel like he can outlast the phasing breathing limit that Mirio has. So I feel like Mirio might be able to get a couple of dubs. I don't feel like it's even. So if I put a number out there, I'm going 6 out of 10 Giganto, maybe 7. Because I just think Giganto just doesn't get tired. And I feel like that right there almost automatically says like hard counter to Mirio, because that he's going to have to keep phasing to really hold his own. And he has to hold his breath in order to do that. How long can that last?
I feel like Mirio has a secret special technique that makes sense to his abilities, but we haven't seen. I'm just going to call it the Mirio brain flick. Because, we don't know that his brain is, muscled and powered, you know what I'm saying? And typically that's not the case with super strong people. That's why I made an argument for Mirio versus All Might. Like, there's a chance, not many. But if you just flick this nigga brain, like, a flick to your brain is going to cause some issues, you know what I'm saying?
That's where my 3 came from, actually. Like, I was putting it on the fact that I think all those 3 wins come from the various uses of that brain flick ability. Like, he has to phase him and do something inside his body in order to win this fight. The question is, like, how frequently can he do that? And how much does, Gigantomachia have to actually stop that?
Okay.
All right. To that argument, I would simply say that would have to be confirmed for me to give Mirio any dubs. My thing is that, okay, so this is a little complicated simply because of, endurance and power. So Gigantomachia, I don't see Mirio having longer endurance and longer power for what we've seen, period. So even though Mirio can avoid getting hit, his blows to Gigantomachia, in my opinion, would literally be nothing. So in that respect, I can see a battle being an endless draw where literally one does 0 damage and then the other one can't touch him at all because, Mirio just keep phasing. Or 2, Mirio really does get tired, end up getting 1 or 2 shotted by Giganto, and that's it.
So you think that if he punched Giganto in the head, Giganto won't feel that?
Actually, that would be my argument. You've seen that Mirio is strong, sure, but strong enough to actually do damage to Gigantomachia? Have we really seen him that strong?
That is true. Like, going up against All Might, he's got to be rattling that brain with a couple of hits. And, I'm sure Giganto's eating that. So the question is, how much more can he really...
Mirio being strong enough to
the difference is, I think is that, so Gigantomachia, he has, pretty much, armor, right? Is that...
Yeah.
So punching him from the outside, you're going up against that armor. But the point with Mirio is that he's bypassing that completely and going directly in your body. That's like saying...
and that's the thing that we haven't been confirmed with. If that ends up being true, then I would actually probably give Mirio probably 8 out of 10. Him getting the W with
because he did it versus the students.
Yeah, has it not been confirmed? I'm
he
pretty
did
sure
it versus the students. He hit all of them when he
not
did
inside. He hit them, but we're talking about
he hit them from the outside using his straight strength.
Right.
No, I could have sworn that was an inside hit. I thought he rattled something in them and they all got knocked out.
No, he was just straight. That was just straight hands.
It looked that way in the manga, but in the anime, he actually just punched the fuck out them niggas.
Oh, damn. R.I.P.
But this would be my argument for why he can do that. There's no issue with him phasing through people. He can do that. He does it all the time. And his control, he was able to kick through Eri, and at the moment it got past her, turn that shit back on and kick another nigga.
That's
you know
true.
What I'm saying? Like the nigga got precision. So I'm like, bro, if anybody can kick a brain, it's that nigga.
But I mean, like, that's just it. Like, again, I just have to see it. Like, I could see the possibility is there. The OP-ness is there. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. It just got to be confirmed that he can truly solidify himself inside another person. And if that would work out.
That's the thing that's blocking me.
So
the reason that I don't think that he can do that is because he can't phase himself while he's inside the ground, which is why he's able to do that teleportation bullshit that he does every time he jumps from place to place. So if he can't do that inside of solid matter, then what's to make you think that he can do that inside of a human body?
But then if he does that to someone's brain, what happens? I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, that's the thing. His body part teleports outside of it.
There is space in between your skull and your brain that's filled with fluid.
Yeah, you're talking about the cerebral spinal fluid. You think that he's finna solidify in that extremely thin space? What a part of his body that's like the thickness of his skin, maybe, to try to use that with some type of momentum to smack his brain. Like, is that exactly going to?
It's coming with the speed of his full kick, right? Like, so it's, even though it's the thinness of his skin or whatever. Well, I mean, I think he might have a little more space than that, but we know it's very thin. It's still coming with that momentum of a grown man's kick, and it don't take much. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much to harm your brain, assuming Gigantomachia has a regular nigga brain. Honestly, half of a punch to a naked brain, and that nigga on the ground shaking. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I picture
it. Can't max out damage. If he can just really flick that bitch, niggas got problems.
That's true.
I picture it as like a sheet of paper that's coming at you extremely fast and just smacking you. That's not really going to do anything to you. That's what I picture, the thinness of an object that's touching his brain. And the Gigantomachia in the brain at that.
Well, so there's an argument here. When he phased through Eri and that bit was still phasing through Eri, but he kicked that nigga felt that as if a grown man kicked him. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like he felt that weight as if it was all there, even though it wasn't. So that's why I'm like, okay, his gravity still persists. We know for a fact his gravity persists because when he phases, gravity is the only thing that affects him. So his momentum and mass are still there, which means that even if it's the sheet of a paper, you're still going to get the momentum and mass of a grown man's foot. And like his power kind of supports that idea.
He's hitting you with the science. Crazy.
But see, my question is though, like when he does phase in, because the whole thing with the like being underground and popping out thing, like because I mean there's materials in the brain, so like fluid and stuff like that. So like when he solidifies to hit the brain, like it's not air that's there, right?
Okay.
Like could he actually solidify within the brain to do it? Because wouldn't it just pop either A, pop his hand out, or B, be fused with like the materials in there?
Now I got a theory on that, and that goes with like the properties of how his thing works. I think that he can't be in the same place of things that don't compress, like solids and water, but some liquids do compress and air can compress, which is why he can kind of phase through air and no issue, right? Because it's all matter, which means if it was just matter that stopped him, then his power just wouldn't work, period. So I believe that it's non-compressible matter is what he can't just appear into. And so you'd have to ask a medical professional. I don't know if the fluid in the brain is compressible. I would think that it is, because if it wasn't, you would get a lot more damage from getting your fucking head rattled than not. If it's compressible, then I think that he should be able to phase in there. And if not hit the brain, hit the fluid that then will hit the brain.
That's pretty feasible, actually.
I mean, that is hella speculation.
I mean, we just don't know much about either of their powers. We don't know, like, Mirio's been in, like, one fight. Gigantomachia never really... He was playing around with, like...
that nigga box, for real.
Who?
Gigantomachia, we ain't never seen him trying to kill a nigga, so we don't really know.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. You don't know shit. So I mean,
Well, let's go with this.
We just know that he a raw ass nigga.
Everyone put their theories out there. Let's just get everybody's numbers, and then we'll leave it at that. Because I mean, I think the real question is like, one, it's Mirio's phasing ability, like how that can affect the inside, which we gave our arguments on, like whether or not we think it's possible, and I think that's what's primarily affecting our score. So based off what the audience believes on if he can or can't do that, then they know who to agree with. I'm going 3 out of 10. I think, or sorry, 3 out of 10 for Mirio winning. So 4 out of 10 for Mirio winning. So 6 out of 10 Giganto winning. I think that's basically because those 3 or 4 wins are basically because I do think that there is some way he can use that phasing ability to affect Gigantomachia. So that's mine.
Okay. I will say that if he can get into the brain, like if the fluid works with his power, then I give that nigga like 7 to 8 wins. This is Mirio. If he cannot, I still consider Mirio to be a top tier hero, and he could still punch niggas' lungs and shit like that because there's space in there. I'll get a nigga maybe 5 wins. I'll call it even 5. I don't know. Gigantomachia is unknown.
Oh man. That's fuck. Right now, I still got to give Giganto 10 out of 10 fights.
Damn. No hope in these streets for me.
I mean, it's still built on the inside like just like a typical human being, I guess you could say, with like human biology, physiology, et cetera, then I mean you still pretty much have like, you know, blood everywhere, right? So I mean it's still like a key factor if Mirio can still like phase in with like blood or that the compressible kind of liquid P5 was talking about. And I think that's literally the only way Mirio gets a W, period. Because Giganto just got the endurance to drop literally one-hit KO blows nonstop. And Mirio has to use his ability literally 24/7 if he doesn't want to get KO'd. So unless he can actually do something offensively, then this isn't even a fight, in my opinion. So I just think that's it's literally like the hindering factor. Just to go on like the other side of things to say that is possible, I would actually reverse it completely, where Mirio takes 10 out of 10 fights. The case that Mirio can phase into somebody, then I would give Mirio 10 out of 10 fights, considering that he's literally Giganto's like kryptonite. Because he literally can't touch Mirio. Giganto's all pretty much power and endurance, and Mirio can make it completely ineffective, go to his brain, one-hit KO, and that's a wrap. So I think that literally defines whether he gets complete wins or complete losses, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's all speculation, like we said. I would say, I mean, when we are talking about Mirio as like an adult, like you said, he's been as a hero for a while, right? Like not the
I give him at least a year.
Yeah, so I assume this is Mirio, like an adult hero. So yeah, I think he would at least 5 out of 5. The whole him phasing through a brain thing, I feel like it would eventually become a thing, even if it's not right now. I feel like a natural progression for his power, but who knows? Even then, I would still give it at least a 5 out of 5. Gigantomachia, I wouldn't, even if Mirio could do it, I still wouldn't give him Mirio a 10, because that's like saying just because he can do that, can he be All Might 10 times? No, I don't think so. So I still think Giganto would at least get a couple of them. So I'm saying at least a 5 out of 5, depending on like Mirio's power progression. It can go to like 6, 7, 8. But we just don't know shit about any of them, really.
Hashtag speculation.
Now, before I answer my question, I want to ask: do his clothes also phase with him? His superhero outfit?
They're made from his clothes. They're made from his hair, I believe. Is what they say.
Right. So is he able to control whether that phases or not?
I guess so.
Yeah, he has to be able to control it, because
here's my reasoning.
Yeah, he has to.
Here's my reasoning. I'm thinking, so if he's able to accumulate a shit ton of objects with that same phaseable capability, then I can see him probably getting about 8 or 9 wins just by stuffing the inside of this nigga's body with so many fucking objects made out of whatever that material is that the nigga will just explode from the inside out, just from all of the pressure of him phasing shit over and over inside of this nigga body. That's that.
Would that work though? I mean, it's still kind of under like the same principles we've been talking about for the speculations, right?
Well, that's the thing. I don't. That's why I'm guessing that maybe he can do this. He can make it where a solid object that's not actually a part of his body can actually stay inside of there, since it's not physically part of him anymore.
I think that's tough to assume. Just because, like, yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen him do it, and I think the core of why he took that L was because he couldn't like phase Aryan anyway. You know, so like he was
right. No, but that's the thing though. She's not a material that he's able to phase. I'm saying if he had a bunch of objects that he's able to phase through stuff just like his clothes, then I can see that being a possibility of him accumulating much more wins. But on the opposite side of that, given what we know right now, I'm only giving a man 1 win, but he's definitely going to poke the nigga eyeballs out 10 out of 10 times. But he's only going to get 1 lucky win out of all those times.
That's
literally catching Gigantomachia while he sleep. As soon as he opens his eyes,
he's gonna apply skills and phase himself through the rest of his bodies, except for his 2 fingers, literally poking his eyeballs out as he's going through. But then after that, he's gonna, eventually get dropped. So that he's gonna fight a blind Gigantomachia and only win 1 of those fights. Out of 10.
I kind of see that. Okay.
Because I don't see anything else that he can actually destroy in a man's body, to be honest.
Wow.